Welcome to Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the square sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as always, by my BFF, my companion, my compadre, my co-host, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing, brother?
Dude, I am so ready. This is the stripped down, in the room, eavesdropping version of Sharper Square. Everyone's going to get to hear us debate the final five we want to put into our contest now that injuries have been reported, lines have been moving. Don't forget, you can see the dynamic contest lines Simon and I are playing at the free Sharper Square Pro Football Pick'em contest if you've signed up to play at sharpersquare.thevolume.com. You can track us in the contest. Chad and Simon, BFFs. Are you ready, brother?
I'm ready.
Okay, these are the games we had zeroed in on the other day. First one up, Los Angeles Chargers at Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs' number has moved from 3.5 early in the week to 6. It is going to be frigid in Kansas City. In the contest, the line is 5.5. Because the contest lines open on Tuesday, and as I just said, they are dynamic. If you like some lines, it's always better to put your picks in early. I did. We got Kansas City minus 4.5. I think we love the luck factor here. Kansas City has just not been getting lucky. The Chargers got very lucky against the Eagles. We love the weather factor. We love the anti-Chargers O-line factor. At least I do. We haven't spoken since Thursday, so I have no idea if you're still with me.
No, I'm still with you. This is the game where I thought the public and professionals bail over the Chargers, and it's been the opposite, honestly, as the week's gone along here. The public is kind of taking our view as well, where it's like you already wanted to bet the Chiefs because it's such a desperate spot against a Chargers team that's banged up on a short week out in the elements. But the fact that the pros have come in so heavy and moved this number, like you said, from 4.5 all the way to 6, that's crazy to me, because it's like, okay, if you have the opportunity to get 6.5 in our contest before kick, how do you not throw a little on the Chargers at that?
Yeah, right.
So to me, if you're seeing that 5.5 or Hard Rock, or like us, you can get 5.5 or 4.5 in the contest. Still love the Chiefs. We're really just playing the situation here. We do not think the Chiefs are a 6-point better team than this Chargers team. It really is what you talked about. This the out in the elements with the one-handed quarterback, and you know, this Chargers team, they've always found a way, especially Herbert in this exact spot, but you can only overcome so much. So it'll be interesting to see how this Chargers team tries to take advantage of a Chiefs banged up offensive line. Like we've talked about this year, they don't really have guys on that Chargers front that really scare you to get the pass rush. So you think Mahomes would be in a good spot here. And like we talked about, that number opened at 3.5. All the early money was on the Chargers, and it kept going the other way. And as the week has gone along and people have seen what we talked about on Tuesday, which was predicting there might be bad weather here, it's just gone the other way. So you're like me, where we're kind of we're locked in our picks and our 5 mostly because we have such a good number. This is one of those games. So the 4.5, if you're able to get on the Chiefs, that's a really nice spot to be in, like we're in right now.
The Buffalo Bills are now 1-point favorites at the New England Patriots. Simon, this is going to be our rock and a hard plays bet of the week, presented by Hard Rock Bet. I'm in New England. It's 20 degrees, snowing. It's supposed to let up a little bit. Our hero, Josh Allen, and his beautiful bride, Haley Steinfeld, announced this week that they are expecting, leave it to Josh Allen to figure out a way to make sure he and his wife have a baby during the offseason. The guy can do no wrong. He is just brilliant at everything. One of the many reasons why we have continued to bet on the Buffalo Bills at -1, -1.5, but we're not getting consensus from the professional community, and that's why it's our rock and a hard place.
Yeah, a lot of pushback on this one. It's been fun the last couple of days talking. I mean, this week, obviously all the games are so great. There's been a lot of discourse, right?
Yeah.
There's all the pros are lining up on these 3 or 4 games together in unison. It's just a ton of back and forth and a lot of opinions because it's so many games that are dictating the 1 seed, the 2 seed playoff divisional games. It's just all happening this week. You can't ask for much better as you head in December. So this matchup you talked about, I get the love for the Patriots. I'm happy to pay and lose money on the Bills. As simple as that. Like, I make the number 3. I get the public sentiment for this Patriots team. It's honestly the truth, Chad. If they had a fully healthy offensive line, this Patriots team, and they had a fully healthy defensive line,
yes,
I could have been talked into that, right? But they might be down their best end, New England, and looking at that offensive line, can they be exploited by Buffalo? It's to be determined, right? With this Buffalo defense, they've had games where they've really done well pressuring quarterbacks, right? You saw it in that Pittsburgh game. You saw it against the Chiefs. And there's other games where it's just not there, right? It's lackluster and it kind of disappears. So we do believe this is the type of game you can take advantage of it. And there are some defensive formats that we've seen may struggle with that I'm interested to see if the Bills kind of attack, right? We've seen it when some teams, they only rush 2 and they drop everyone back into coverage. He struggles with it and he likes to pull it down. If he doesn't see clearly open or, single cover safeties, he tends to pull it down and runs with it, which I honestly think in this type of game, the Bills are going to try to attack. So there's a lot to love for this game, and the biggest one is just the number. So I'm happy to pay for it. And this is one of the best games of the day, just because if New England does win this, we've talked about it, this is basically they win the division. So did Drake Maye sleep a wink last night? I don't know. It's going to be interesting how this kid handles this type of game, because not that they've been on cruise control here, but this is their first test in what feels like 2-3 months. So I'm really excited for this game.
Drake Maye is in the middle of Bakemas in his house, okay? He has eaten so much sugar. I don't know how the guy is able to function. I don't know how he's able to sleep. He could be incredibly lethargic all day today because he's busy eating chocolate chip peppermint Christmas cookies. He's busy eating, Rice Krispie Christmas treats. Like, the guy has a lot of sugar going on in his house right now. On the field, the one thing I would say, the reason why I really like this game, New England's rush defense has just been getting worse and worse as the season's gone on because of the injuries. And we know that the Bills, they're going to want to run the ball. That is who they are. They're a physical run the ball team. Give me the Bills. Championship pedigree. They know this is their shot. If they lose this game, it could flip the division for a decade. So that's why I think the Bills need to cover this game. Detroit at the Los Angeles Rams. Line is currently 6. We got it at 5.5 in the contest. It's a sneaky. You had to be listening to understand that Simon loved this game on Tuesday at 5.5. Still true.
Still true. I am shockingly, as people can tell from this contest, have we started so far, I'm very chalk heavy this week. So
yeah, we are. It's weird.
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, we talk all the time. At least we have some dogs we're forcing this week, but that's just how we ended up on Tuesday. And like you said, you locked in a lot of these picks on Tuesday, and this is one of those games you locked in, so we have the better number. Obviously, we wish it was the 5, but we got the hook. It's the 5.5, no problem. And
which we're going to get in the contest. We're not doing flat numbers. It's always going to be a hook.
Yeah. And it was interesting to see what this summer was going to do, just because there was a possibility Devontae Adams was going to miss this game, right? He has been not practicing because of a hamstring, and you've kind of seen these last couple of weeks. He's not really been the threat he was before. They're kind of just using him in their packages when they get to the red zone, which I think is smart. You use the young kid Puka work in the middle of the field. When you get to the red zone, you take care and use the vet there. So we talked about this matchup. The lines, if you're trying to lie to yourself, or just not lie to yourself, but even find a way to spin it and find a success, how can you back the Lions here? We gave out that number, right? Goff, Campbell, 17-3 as a dog, greater than 4. My pushback, which me and Chad have talked a little about this season, is a lot of these might be Ben Johnson stats. And I'm interested to see with this type of matchup that this is going to have to be all on Goff in this offense. They're going to have to keep up in some way, because you've just seen that their secondary, it's too many injuries to overcome. Now you're down, both your safeties, you're down corners. It's a lot to ask against the MVP, who's in cruise control right now in Stafford, playing against his former team, which he can say doesn't mean a lot, but they've played 2 times now, and every time after the game he says it means a lot. So to me, nothing's changed there. And, I look at this Lions matchup, and it's going to be interesting if the way they win this game will be by running it. We've seen this Rams team, the only teams they lose to are teams that can run the ball and ball control. And, that fluky loss against Carolina where, Bryce Young threw for 350. Yeah, those things can happen, but just going back further, their past losses, which mainly has been to the Eagles, it's when the Eagles can run for a ton and ball control, keep Stafford off the field, never let him in rhythm. The Lions do have that. They have, you can argue, a top 2, top 3 running back in football right now in Gibbs. So there is a lane for it. I can't see it. And I think this number should probably be 7.5. Like, this is just priced as if this is Detroit of the past. And the public's treating that way. Right now, as we sit here, most bookmakers I've talked to, most books I've seen, it's been pretty heavy Detroit money. And we always talk, it's pretty noticeable when a ton of money's coming on one side, especially the dog. And the number, like we said, has gone from 4.5 to 5.5, now to 6. So I'm confident this Rams side, but I definitely want to see what's going on with Devontae Smith. If you have not, Devontae Adams, if you have not bet this yet, if he is out, maybe you get lucky and it drops back down to 5.5, 5. But I don't mind taking this Rams of the 6 if that's the only number you can get.
Lions incredibly beat up on the offensive line. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Stafford is brilliant against man, which is what the Lions have played basically every game. We saw them play zone against the Cowboys, but Stafford is even better against zone, whether it's their success rate in the running game, which is the best since 2018, when the Rams were awesome in success rate in the run game, whether it's 13 personnel, which Sean McVay has been using nonstop this year, if it's Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, they've just been at every level in every scheme, so unstoppable offensively against a really beat up Detroit Lions secondary for sure. Green Bay at Denver, another chalky one for us. This was Chad's choice. Little concerned because it had been 2 and then it had gone up to 2.5. Over the past 24 hours, it's gone down to 1.5. And honestly, there are some places where this line is Green Bay -1. So I'm seeing the tickets come in on Denver. Obviously, that's professional money coming in on Denver too. Worries me a little bit. I think it's the worst number we're getting in the contest, because in the contest, we got it at 2.5.
Yeah, it honestly feels like it's a Josh Jacobs movement. The guy didn't practice all week, which, again, not a big deal to me. He's a vet, but he did pop up, and it did come out that it's like, okay, it's not a guarantee he's going to play in this game. They're going to work him out before the game and see how he's feeling. And we talked about it last week. Like, when he's going with that offense, they're different unstoppable. Yep. He's just such a game changer, especially when they get down to the red zone. So I'm not going to lie to you. That worries me a little bit. But what we're saying still holds true. I still think overall this is a better Packers team, and this is a unique spot for this Broncos team that they have been tested in certain matchups this year. But when they play really good defenses, you've seen they have struggled, and especially Bo Nix. And that Houston game, I still think we handicapped that right. Bo Nix just got very lucky that CJ got knocked out, and he was able to come back in that game against a Davis Mills who just hadn't played with the ones all season. So another matchup here where we're really, as much as we love Jordan Love and we're depending on this offense, how to show up against great Broncos defense, it's really about this Packers defense. Can they shut down Bo Nix and stop this Broncos team? And, the Packers defense, they've been up and down this year. This feels like a really unique, great matchup for them to test themselves, and the fact that this is a true great playoff team. And, we've seen it time and again. Parsons, people probably been seeing those clips all week. He's just basically being held nonstop these last couple of weeks. And that's exciting to me, though, because that shows whatever was happening early in the year. I remember he had some type of injury. I forget what it was.
Back injury.
He was getting shots in his back, and it was like, okay, did the Cowboys fleece this Green Bay team? Or are they getting damaged goods here? And he's been nothing but great for them this home stretch here. And he's been one of the better defensive players in the season. So we're really heavily relying on this Green Bay's defense to show up. On the flip side, as good as those Broncos defense is to a lot of people, I think the Packers have so many ways to attack them offensively. And you've seen it since Watson's been back, that wide receiving core, he's been such a game changer for them. So.
And Reed.
Yeah, and Reed. So the Tucker Kraft stuff scared me, Chad, but I've come around on Green Bay's offense since they've gone back to those 2 stud receivers.
Also, Jordan Love has just been great against pressure. And we know that the Broncos don't necessarily need to bring blitz pressure. They usually go with 5 men because they can get Pat Surtain on the corner, who can basically take away half the field. You don't have to bring the extra guys. But Jordan Love has just been great against it all season. So we're I think we're betting more on the Packers defense here to contain Bo Nix than we are on the Packers offense to beat up on the Broncos defense. right now, we have 4 games that we love, all chalk. On the other side of this break from Hard Rock Bet, we're going to have to figure out who the final game is, and we got some underdogs that we are very excited to talk about. Today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. You want to know where I bet on sports during the holiday season? It's Hard Rock Bet. Not just because it's the presenting sponsor of our show, but because they make it easy to bet on my favorite teams, players, and leagues in just a few simple taps, especially with their brand new For You page that recommends picks based on my favorite picks and who I like to bet on. I open the app, go to my For You page, find a bet I like, and then bam, my bet is placed just in time for me to get back to wrapping presents and enjoying my favorite holiday movie. Sign up today and bet $5 on any game. If it wins, you also score $150 in bonus bets. A winning bet plus an extra $150 to bet with. Now that's spreading holiday cheer. Plus, Hard Rock Bet fills your stockings with new promos daily. So whenever you're listening, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. All right, let's talk about some underdogs. First one up, Minnesota 5.5 point underdog against Dallas. There are 6s out there. It was 6.5 early in the week when we talked about it. Hopefully people were able to get that. Look, it's a tricky game. I don't think we're betting on J.J. McCarthy here. I think it's another one where we're betting on the Cowboys, on the Vikings defense to be able to contain the Cowboys in some capacity, and Kevin O'Connell to come up with some game plan that puts J.J. McCarthy in the offense in an advantageous position against a Dallas defense that has been bad. They've been better with Quinnen Williams. They're getting Trayvon Diggs back, but they have been bad. So we're kind of betting on the bigger number here.
Yeah, and it's a tough week, honestly, for me with the dogs. Like, there's 4 dogs I've bet on, and this is one of them. And, you know, you had the option to put any dog you wanted, and this is the dog you chose, Chad. So this is the dog I'm going to happily support you with. So I like it. I like the number. And like you said, the Cowboys, this feels a little inflated for what they're going to be facing here just defensively for this Minnesota team. And, you know, the fear for me would just be, can JJ keep up if Dak is on one? And that's going to be the issue. So, like, this is simply us playing the number. Obviously, we wish we had gotten the 6.5, 6, which I know a couple of people in our contest have, because this did touch 6 at Hard Rock and a couple other books. But I got no issue at the 5.5. This number should be 3.5. So we're going to quickly find out pretty early here, Chad. We'll know quickly if JJ's on script here with KOC. We, at worst, first 2 drives, we go 10, right? Field goal and a touchdown. That's usually a nice sign that JJ's in rhythm with KOC in this team. And we're going to need it. Like, we've seen these stats. This Cowboys defense is atrocious, but their offense, especially after losses, tends to show up, right? It's a juggernaut. Pickens has been hearing, last 2 weeks how he's been quitting on routes, being terrible. So you expect him to bounce back here, but just a bad spot, we would think, for this Cowboys team. This Vikings defense, they are great against veteran quarterbacks. And, we've seen Dak, as great as he is, he does struggle against these type of defenses, especially with Brian Flores at the helm. So, the interesting game here, that another game, talk to bookmakers, all Dallas money, all the teasers, all the parlays. I know people don't believe it, but you have to throw a little. If you're a hater, a contrarian like I am, you have to throw a little on Minnesota's money line. I know it sounds crazy, but this is just going to be such a hammered game. So it should be in the primetime Sunday night game.
The other game that it came down to Minnesota and Dallas and Carolina and New Orleans. And now Carolina's in the driver's seat with Tampa Bay's loss the other night to win the NFC South. We love the Carolina Panthers, but 2.5, New Orleans 2.5 was your Simon Says on Tuesday. The line is basically touching 3 at a lot of places. We're getting 2.5 in the contest. On Thursday, you were leaking confidence. I was too, which is when I would have put in the picks, and it's why I put in Minnesota. Are you still leaking confidence?
No, it's just like the Minnesota thing. I believe in it, but I see the avenue of me just getting just crushed, stomped out here, because again, we're backing two gross dogs after they just had two really big wins. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how the Saints team bounces back. We've talked. It's a unique team in New Orleans. They've actually been much better on the road than they have been at home. They've been putrid at home, surprisingly, but this is, to me, a game that's all on Carolina and Bryce Young and how he handles an amounts of pressure he hasn't felt since college. Like, this is an insane, unique spot to be in, that if he wins this game and then his next week against the Bucs, they've won the division, which is something that's insane to think about this Carolina Panther team, especially not just this season, but going back these last couple of years. Is Bryce Young the guy? Is he left for dead? Now, fast forward, they might be stealing this division from a Bucs team that's collapsing down the stretch here. So I still love this Saints team. It just feels like you're getting a unique spot. The Panthers, we've talked about it. They've been favored 11 times now since, 2022? And they're 0-11 against the spread and straight up. So can they break the curse? This is their moment to live up to it. I have to keep fading it here. And back a Saints team that, once again, undervalued by the public. It's another, just like that Minnesota game. Every bookmaker I talked to, they couldn't wait to get me to bet some Saints money because they desperately needed it. And I bust their balls. I'm like, well, if you need it so bad, why not bust it to the 3? Like, if you guys are acting like you desperately need Saints numbers, push it to the 3. You're going to get a ton of money. And like Chad said, a bunch of books have hit the 3. But the most interesting one to me is the 2 or 3 biggest public books have held at the 2.5, and they are taking the most amount of Panthers money. So I'll stand with the books here. I'll back the Saints, but I get why you chose Minnesota over the Saints. It's a tough call, but I would say with the bigger number on this Minnesota team, it's more comfortable taking that number there.
That was really the deciding factor to me, was the bigger number and a really good they at least have one unit we know we can count on. All right, so to me, it's right now.
I'll just say one more game I would have forced you in. Just we'll get out real quick. It was just the Commanders. I still think it's 2.5. This game should probably be closer to a pick. So it's 2-0 at Hard Rock, but plenty of 2.5s out there. The Giants are just so bad, and once again, everyone's just piling up on them. I get it. They do have a more complete team than the Commanders, especially, look at the defense of the Commanders are just so bad. But I think Mariota, if he's got Debo, if he's got Terry McLaurin, he's got Rodriguez, the running back. That's a pretty potent offense Washington's bringing to the field here. So I'm shocked it's not moved to a pick. I still think the 2.5 is a good number. So that and the Saints, those are the 2 really ugly dogs I like this week, including Cincinnati. But again, all those 3, I think we're never going to get there because of the number.
Do we want to put Washington in? Like, the only question in the contest at this point is, we lose the 4.5 on Kansas City, we'd probably get 5.5. So everything else would stay the same. Do we want to put Washington in instead of Minnesota?
I wish I had the foresight here. The thing that's just scaring me off, which I'm sure you have the same exact feeling right now, is that we were on 4 favorites, which it never works out for us. But I think we're in unique spots here, especially that Green Bay and Buffalo game, where those are 2 chalk favorites that are actually honestly not getting that much public love or professional love. So I don't know. I get why we would maybe make a move here, but I'm trying not to overthink it and keep, like you said, we have good contest lines. The only bad number we have is Green Bay, but I don't think that's bad enough to move off it. I don't think the 2.5 is going to affect us that much. So I don't know. If you want to step up and say something, Chad, and have a game you want to plant and say this is the one I want to put in, I'll support it. But as we sit here right now, the only one I really want to take out is honestly Minnesota. And it's like these other dogs, it's no different. I'm not that much more confident in these other dogs either. So it's a weird week, honestly.
Well, I agree. Like, Minnesota is the one I'm most uncomfortable with, have been all week.
Yeah.
But I don't love New Orleans. I don't love Washington. I don't love Cincinnati. Those are the other ones that I've looked at. So I guess
let's not change it.
Let's not change it. No. Let's not overthink it. That's what we always do. And then we make a mistake. So our official contest picks, Kansas City -4.5. We got that early in the week. Minnesota +5.5. We got Buffalo -1.5. We got the Rams -5.5. We got Green Bay -2.5. That's what we're running with today, Simon. This has been Sharper Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back on Sharper Square YouTube tonight, live after America's game of the week. That's Packers-Broncos, to recap all the misery and glory of the day. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharper Square. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Also, download us from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe. Leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until tonight, love you.
Together we can do it. Nobody can do it alone, but together we can do it. Let's play our kind of football, and we'll come out of it with a win. Let's go.